All right, well, bringing a family caregiver is a labor of love, and that comes with a lot of responsibilities. While it's hard to put a price on caring, obviously, it can come with some real out-of-pocket costs for you, plus the need to do some long-range planning and preparation. Two women who know the importance of this are with me today, Marguerite Rowe, AARP's State Director, and Linda Davenport, BECU's Trust Services Team. Thank you so much for being here, ladies.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So Linda, we'll start with you. When it comes to caring for our loved ones, preparation and advanced planning is obviously key. What are some documents or plans that you feel like people should focus on?
Well, first, from a planning standpoint, investment management is really important. Making sure that your assets, grow for you over the long period of time, right? For your current needs and needs in the future. The other thing I would say would be a will. Some folks benefit from different types of trusts, burial arrangements, but I think the underutilized documents are power of attorney documents over healthcare and power of attorney documents over financial matters.
Wow, definitely. And speaking of power of attorney, once I have the power of attorney in hand, what should I do with that, and how is the best way to support my loved one?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to give you an example, and I think that's the best way to describe this.
Definitely.
So I am a caregiver for my mom, who's 82 years old. And I have 3 siblings. And so what we've done with the power of attorney document, where I've been appointed as my mom's agent, we've taken that document to my mom's financial institutions, banks, credit unions, investment companies, and we've had my name listed as the attorney in fact, so that I can transact and help my mom with bill paying.
Okay.
I could even, if I needed to sell her real estate, I could do that. So all the financial needs that my mom would need support on, I can do with that power of attorney document. Unfortunately, what people often do is they will add their adult child to an account, which is not necessarily the best option, because in essence, if my mom would have done that, then I become an owner of that joint account. Because she wanted to put me on there for convenience, but then it contradicts what her will says after she passes, where she wants all of her assets to be divided equally among her 4 children, because I now own this account. So utilize that power of attorney document over financial matters. It is important and very much underutilized.
Absolutely. That is a great way to explain it. I feel like I'm not there yet with my parents, but I've watched, my dad with my grandma in the past. So
Sure.
Absolutely amazing information. And Marguerite, now we go to you. Clearly there's a lot to consider and plan for, and some people might not really know where to start, but AARP has a free resource. So I want you to tell me about that.
So we have this wonderful financial
yes, there you
workbook
go.
for family caregivers, and it's the way to enter into the conversation. So as you want to talk about where all those documents are, so as you're prepared for anything that might happen, it talks about our, your health care plan and your health care team, housing, money, knowing where all the money is. And these days we have paper documents, we have electronic files.
Yes.
It's a way to put in one place where everything is.
Oh my gosh, one-stop shop. That is amazing. And Linda, obviously this can be a long-term commitment with everything that you have to do. Mm-hmm. What advice would you have for caregivers when they're looking at their own finances too?
Well, again, making sure that their assets are invested, and if that requires hiring a professional investment manager to manage your assets to make sure that they grow, but also being realistic. If you feel that you don't have the financial wherewithal to help your loved one, as they age, there are opportunities to talk to an attorney that actually specializes in elder law or Medicaid planning.
Okay.
And those are some good options, as well as maybe even long-term care, because oftentimes as caregivers, we spend a lot of our own money. And if you add that up annually, versus an annual premium for long-term care, it may exceed what that annual long-term care policy premium would be. So definitely look at those options.
Definitely. And on that topic, Marguerite, of people paying, with their own finances, what's the big picture on that?
So on average, family caregivers are paying $7,000 out of pocket for supporting and for the caregiving costs. If you were to total that up over the 800,000 and more family caregivers that are unpaid, the state would have to find an extra $16.7 billion a year
Oh, my
to
Lord.
cover those costs. So it's a big contribution that family caregivers are making, and that's why we want to make sure they're prepared and that they're taking advantage of programs that are out there, particularly for those who are on fixed incomes.
Wow. This was such an important and very insightful conversation. Thank you so much for being here. And for more tips and tools around planning for caregiver finances, you can go to the website right there on your screen. AARP also offers a free financial workbook for family caregivers that you can download on the site.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by AARP and BECU.